Hey guys, it's Andrew from 510 Books. I'm here at home about to package up some stuff that I sold on eBay and thought I'd make a movie. Yeah, this is a movie. Thought I'd make a video about some of the interesting things I sold and talk a little bit about those and hopefully help some people out there. So it's been a little while since I made a video. Obviously, if you've been around for a while, watch or a subscriber to my channel or watching my channel, you know that. If you're new, welcome. Let's launch into it. I want to talk about I'll talk about in general what happened. So I was gonna say three sales that are all a little bit different, have a little story behind them, little story. But I have now on eBay over 1,700 items. I've been selling on there since, believe it or not, 2017, over 5 years. And this year especially, I've been growing the inventory a lot. And so I have a diverse inventory of media, but it's diverse across a lot of different types of media. So I want to talk about a VHS tape I sold, a book I sold, and a couple of DVDs. So I had some good sales. I had a VHS tape that is sealed that sold for $50. I had two DVDs purchased by the same person. One sold for $50. The other one sold for $41. Well, almost $42. And then the other one is a signed first edition copy of a book that went for $175. So the first one is something that I pulled out. Here it is, Back to the Future, that I pulled out of a recent Gaylord that I was going through. So this is sealed. It's got you can see the little stamp there, the MCA Universal, I believe, the stamp, the watermark stamp. And that's something that you want to see. So there are certain titles. So I want to share this with you because number one, it's a good sale, $50, but number two, you want to keep your eye out for sealed VHS tapes. Now, many sealed VHS tapes, many titles that are sealed in the VHS format are worth very little. But there are some, like Back to the Future, that can be worth some good money. I've sold in the past it was either Terminator, the first Terminator or the second Terminator. I can't remember at this point. It was probably over a year plus ago. It was sealed. I sold it for like $40-50. So when you come across well-known, certain titles, right? Because there are other titles that are well-known, like Braveheart, that I've seen sealed a bunch of times, not worth much money. So it really depends on what it is. That's why you're going to want to get good at looking things up on eBay, using their app to do the research. So this is something that came out of a Gaylord. So I paid for the whole Gaylord, but this was one of the items that goes towards, I probably already paid for the Gaylord at this point with all the eBay sales. So this is probably profit, but it's a very nice sale. It did not take that long for it to sell either. It took probably a couple weeks at most. Now, I strongly recommend that you have a diverse eBay inventory, unless you're specializing in one particular niche. And I'm talking about media, books and media. If you're just doing books, that's all you want to do, great. You can just grow your inventory, have a larger inventory. You're probably going to get more sales. If you're consistently listing new items every week, doesn't have to be every day, but at least every week you're putting up some new stuff. So you have fresh new inventory. That's going to help you sell the new inventory, but also probably help you sell the older stuff as well. But I think it's a good idea to have a diverse inventory because there's just more people out there that would be interested in what you have to sell in your store. So here, these are two DVDs. They are, almost dropped it. There's this one, the Extreme Open Guard. It's mixed martial arts. There's that one. And then this one is similar. Open Guard for beginners. It's from the same person. I don't know how to pronounce it. Tinguina. And so combined, they sold for around $90, going to the same person. Now, these actually came from a Gaylord that I got about a year and a half ago. And these were listed towards the end of last year. So these have been up for a little less than a year. And I was just waiting for the right person to come along, because looking at past solds on eBay, I could see that these were going for good money, and that you just had to wait for that right person who would purchase them. And this is great because I purchased them at the same time, and I can just ship them out. And I think it's really important to be patient with this kind of stuff, which is why it's important to have, well, I feel it's important to have a larger eBay inventory, because some items are just going to take longer than others. And if you have a smaller inventory, it's more likely that unless everything you have up there is kind of hand-picked to sell quickly, chances are you're not going to get that many sales. So if you keep on adding more and more and more inventory, keep growing your inventory, the older stuff is eventually going to sell, especially that really niche stuff. This is pretty niche, and it can go for good money versus trying to sell it quicker, putting it up for less money. Really try to maximize your profit, of course, right? Especially if you're going out there and paying a couple bucks for these kind of things. This was in a Gaylord, so of course it's cheaper per item to get if you don't know what a Gaylord is, it's a large box 4 by 4 by 4 feet full of, in this instance, mixed media. So mostly CDs, DVDs, mostly music and movies with some video games, and maybe some audiobooks in there. And, well, yeah, music and movies. So it'll be a little bit cheaper. But if you're going to the thrift store or wherever you're going to get your inventory, and you're paying $2, $3, $4 for this kind of stuff, then of course you want to be careful and make sure you're going to make some money. Now, the big one that I made, the big sale that I made, is a book that, hold on one second. So it's actually a book that I got, I had donated to me back in February of this year. Now, let me show you the book. It is Betty White's book, If You Ask Me, and of course you won't. And it is a signed copy. So I got this in February, listed it soon after, where she passed away at the end of last year. Sorry. Yes, end of last year. And I listed it pretty soon after I got it. The prices were kind of a little bit all over the place. Here's her signature. I actually lowered it significantly after a while because I wasn't getting any nibbles. I think I had it up to maybe like $300 or something like that. Dropped it down eventually, probably a couple of months ago when I dropped it, down to $199. Got an offer yesterday for $175 plus shipping. Happy to accept the offer. Again, I've had the book since February. It was donated, so it was free, and making a $175 sale is awesome. But again, this is something you have to be a little patient on. I didn't want to drop it down to some ridiculously low price like $50 or even lower than that, when I knew that there weren't a ton of copies of this book, with, of course, it being signed by me saying this book, I mean it being signed by her. There weren't that many. So I knew that eventually it would probably sell for a decent amount of money. I figured I'd have to lower it a little bit. There were some going for $300, $400, $500 when I first listed it earlier in the year. But those prices came down, and I wasn't able to sell it for that amount. But I'm super happy about selling it for $175. So all these sales, so it's Monday. It's Monday, September 26th, 2022. So these sales happened over the weekend. And in addition to those, this is why I feel it's important to have diversified inventory, as well as continually work on growing it, is you're going to get smaller sales. Well, unless you are only selling higher ticket items, of course. But I have smaller dollar sales that come in with bigger stuff like this. And it's nice to kind of get the mixture. Sometimes I'll only get, if I get 5 sales, maybe most of them will be under $20, and only one of them might be, $25, $30. But it's good, to have both, to have the ones that are higher priced that might take a little bit longer. A lot of those tend to take a little bit longer, not always, unless it's some super high, in high demand item that is going to be bought up quickly, that is very rare or just has a demand right now. you know, even if it's going for a lot of money, then that's something that's probably going to sell pretty quickly. But I also sold, you know, I sold an individual DVD. I sold individual CD for both of them were under $10. I also sold two lots of CDs. One of them sold for less than 10. The other one sold for, I think, $12 plus shipping. And also sold another book that sold for $40 that I purchased last year, I believe, as a local buy with a bunch of other books. So it's a good mixture. I don't always have, you know, big sales like that over the weekend, $175 sale. They come along, you know, here and there. It's not constant, but I do have a large enough inventory of different items in terms of different types of media and in terms of price points that I will see, you know, items that I sell will vary in terms of, you know, anywhere from like $5 up to hundreds of dollars. But typically it's probably under 100 per item that I'm selling on a consistent basis. But like I said, I do have many items in my store that are going for hundreds of dollars, and will probably end up at some point selling for that. So just keep that in mind, right? Just keep in mind, you know, how large you want your inventory. There's no magic number. There's still some items in my eBay store that I listed, you know, 3 years ago that probably need to be taken down. You know, some CDs I know that have just been sitting a long time, but sometimes some of those things will randomly sell. And, you know, but I do have some items like, I know some CDs for sure, but probably some books as well that could come down and make some more room for other stuff. But thankfully, I do have enough space to continue to grow my inventory, and I keep selling it, that it makes more room, basically. However, I will say, if you've been in the eBay game for a while, reselling books and media, you do know that sales took a hit a couple years ago, and it's not back to where it was pre-2021 when they made that change about a year ago, right before the holidays, before last year. You know, they made some sort of change to their algorithms or something along those lines, and in terms of what I've experienced, it hasn't come back to that level at all. And that's unfortunate, but eBay, for me at least, is the #1 game in town. You know, I'm excluding Amazon. I sell different types of books on Amazon and media than I do generally on eBay. But yeah, so that's a little update of what's going on. I'm still plugging away, you know, at the eBay store and sending or listing stuff on Amazon. And of course I have my store, but I won't go into that in this video in any detail. But thanks for watching, guys. If you have not seen me in a while, hopefully you'll see me soon again. I do want to make more videos, but it's tough to fit it in. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.